A vigil for one of the victims in the Brooklyn Day mass shooting that calls for accountability as the community mourns a loss. Fox 45 has obtained new court documents shedding light on the moments before the shooting, how the teen arrested on gun charges may face other charges. A volunteer crime watch group says Safe Streets is not doing enough to protect the city, why they're calling the shooting a system failure.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for staying with us. Tonight, we continue our coverage into the mass shooting at the Brooklyn Day block party. Right now, we're taking a live look at the vigil that just started to remember one of the victims lost. People are gathering at Druid Hill Avenue and Wilson Street, and we're just setting up. We just got there. And they tonight are going to be honoring 20-year-old Kailas Fagbemi. Now, Fagbemi and 18-year-old Aliyah Gonzalez killed just over a week ago when gunfire broke out at the Brooklyn homes during a block party. 28 others were left injured. Fox 45 News spoke to Gonzalez's grandmother last week, just a day after the shooting.
If they had police presence, even two cars, even two police cars, if they were there, I'm almost certain this wouldn't happen. That person wouldn't be so, brave to come out with a gun and see a police car, but there was no security.
As questions continue surrounding police presence the night of the shooting, new information is emerging about the teenager facing weapons-related charges in the Brooklyn shooting. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost obtained new court documents today. She has that part of the story.
The details indicate police believe there were multiple scenes within the Brooklyn Homes community. And according to the documents, detectives say when the 17-year-old pulled what appears to be a weapon out of his backpack, one shooting triggered several others. Broken candles in the grass serve as a small reminder.
Discharging a firearm, 8:15 heard in court, people shooting and fighting at the location, anonymous caller.
Of the mass shooting on the 800 block of Gretna Court. Emerging now, new details about the investigation from court documents obtained by Fox 45 News. Detectives say multiple CCTV cameras captured the 17-year-old now facing 5 misdemeanor weapons charges showing up to the Brooklyn Day party around 7:15 Saturday evening with a white and gray backpack. Adding, the teen was seen on video wearing the same clothing he says he was wearing when he got shot in the leg. Police relying on this widely circulated social media video, seemingly showing the 17-year-old pulling out what looks like a gun from his backpack, writing that when the teen pulled out the weapon from his backpack, it, quote, would cause substantial fear in a reasonable person. And the initial shooting incited additional shootings within the Brooklyn Homes community. Meanwhile, the teen's attorney, Michael Klingscale, pushes back on the narrative described by police, noting the weapon has not been recovered.
They're holding him for gun charges when we allege that what this young man had was an Orbeez gun. An Orbeez gun is a toy. If you haven't recovered anything and the young man says it's a toy, what is it?
Police trying to connect 6.223 caliber bullet casings found to the teen. The casings found in a pool of blood, according to the documents, in an area where the teen described he was shot. Detectives writing, the same weapon was taken out of his backpack is capable of firing the same caliber bullets.
They said that these .223 caliber bullets could have come from a weapon similar to what the young man had, but the police don't have this. So what are they talking about?
Police pushing for riot charges in the court documents, though none have been brought against the teen. But all of the charges he is facing, including possession of an assault weapon, are misdemeanor offenses. It's unclear if this case will stay in the juvenile criminal justice system or be moved to the adult system. And as of now, no one else has been arrested or charged in this investigation. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
What happened to the procedures and the protocols to shut this thing down?
A group working to reduce violence in Baltimore City is speaking out after the mass shooting in Brooklyn. They're calling it a system failure and are demanding answers from the city's flagship violence intervention program called Safe Streets. Fox 45's Maxine Stryker has a look at their concerns.
The Guardian Angels are a long-standing and well-respected group in Baltimore, working day in and day out to prevent crime. And tonight, they have a lot of questions about that mass shooting in Brooklyn, a violent incident they believe, with the right protocols in place, could have been avoided.
for nearly 2 decades.
We've been here 17 years, and we've been consistent with what we do and how we do it.
The Baltimore Guardian Angels, led by Marcus Strider Dent, have been making a difference in communities riddled with crime.
Whatever the community needs help with in empowering that community, that's what the Guardian Angels do.
The nonprofit, volunteer-driven organization builds safer communities through neighborhood patrols and violence intervention. After the mass shooting in Brooklyn,
everything can be controlled with the right leadership, the right management, and the right accountability. So everything that's happened because somebody failed to check the box and dot the I's.
Strider is speaking out on what he's calling a system failure, from City Hall to police to the city's flagship intervention program, Safe Streets.
You had a violence interception group that was at the thing. There was no communication.
Fox 45 confirmed 4 Safe Streets workers were at Brooklyn Day before the shooting occurred, de-escalating a number of conflicts. But we're told Monzi didn't relay any of the information to police, despite reports of numerous armed individuals.
You can't have people with guns and knives and stuff and not tell the police, especially when you are funded to help with this. That's what you're doing. You're the flagship group. How can you not make a phone call and say, hey, this is going on?
There's simply no excuse for the lack of communication, according to Strider, who says Safe Streets should have never left that night.
One thing about the Guardian Angels, if we see something, we're going to say something. We'll follow you from cuffs to court.
Fox 45 has been investigating the effectiveness of the Safe Streets program for years and the lack of transparency from the organizations and agencies operating it.
The program itself and how it operates, it's just not right. It's just not right, and it comes down from the top.
Monzi just announcing $5.1 million in federal relief money going to Catholic charities to run Safe Streets, the same nonprofit running the Brooklyn location, just blocks from Brooklyn homes. Meantime, the Guardian Angels and many other groups working to stop the bloodshed in Baltimore with limited resources.
Think about all the community leaders that are out here doing all the hard work that don't get half the recognition, half the appreciation. You give somebody that much money, you want the receipts. You want to know what it is they're doing. You want to know who it is you're hiring.
Strider says the city is in desperate need of new leadership and more transparency, or scenes like this in Brooklyn will just keep happening.
Rules don't fall into place until something bad happens.
Monzi says they are now reviewing their protocols and assessing their escalation policies. In Baltimore, Maxine Stryker, Fox 45 News.
On Thursday, Baltimore Police, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, and the Department of Housing will all be in front of City Council. The council calling the hearing to find out what led up to the block party, while also looking for answers on what some are calling massive failures from Monzi and the police department before the party turned violent.
Why was there no police presence on the scene? Why did we not know about the event in advance? Who knew about the event in advance?
The council also wanting to know why Safe Streets workers didn't tell police about potential threats at the party.
Now, a Fox 45 News alert in 3, 2, 1.
Fox 45 is following breaking news right now. Bank of America has been accused of double dipping on fees, withholding credit card rewards, and opening fake accounts for customers. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau ordered the company to pay more than $100 million to customers and $90 million in penalties. Bank of America is accused of repeatedly charging customers for insufficient funds and overdraft fees and making special offers but not delivering on those promises. They also say starting in 2012, the bank would illegally enroll customers for credit cards without their knowledge. Now, the Bureau says if you believe you've been affected by these violations, the Bank of America will be sending out reimbursement checks or depositing money directly into your account. Mary?
Hi, thank you. New tonight, CHAP, Baltimore City's Commission for Historical and Architectural Preservation, is speaking out over BGE's use of external gas regulators. The board says it's up to the Maryland Public Service Commission, which regulates BGE, to decide how safety factors into this debate. BGE maintains that the external gas regulators are to improve customer and community safety. CHAP says, though, it will schedule a public hearing to decide how to move forward and protect historic homes and neighborhoods. That's expected to happen in the next 30 days. Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski has released a new food facility inspection dashboard in an effort to increase transparency in Baltimore County. The new website shows restaurants that have been closed due to critical health and safety violations, such as pest infestations or food not being properly cooked. You'll be able to see why and when the establishment closed, as well as when they are able to reopen. The dashboard is expected to be updated each and every day. The Anne Arundel County School Board is expected to vote on a new flag policy tomorrow. The policy would ban all flags other than the American, Maryland, Anne Arundel County, and Annapolis flags from classrooms, including the pride flag. It's a controversial proposal. Protesters on both sides of the argument gathered outside the last school board meeting. Supporters say so-called political flags distract from learning. Others say the policy will make some students feel unwelcome.
For me, having a pride flag and a Black Lives Matter flag enables me to meet the social emotional needs of students. And if their social emotional needs are not met, they're not learning anything.
When you have the American flag, that's for everyone. Other flags divide and they categorize people, which brings confusion and also division and animosity. And so sticking with the American flag cuts out the confusion and helps the students to focus and be united.
The school board will hear more public comment before tomorrow's vote. Fox 45 News will keep you updated on the meeting, both on air and online. You can find all of our past reporting about the policy on our website, foxbaltimore.com.
Professional golf in focus on Capitol Hill. I'm Atrell Nashar with how some lawmakers say the PGA LIV merger should play out and why others say Congress should stay out of it.
And overnight tonight, actually some pretty comfortable temperatures as we drop from hot near 90 back into the 60s overnight tomorrow morning as well. I'm going to let you know, though, where we have code red air quality alerts in effect for tomorrow. That's breaking news in my Weather Authority forecast.
Well, a story that has rocked the sports world is taking center stage in Congress. Lawmakers grilling PGA executives on its pending merger with LIV Golf, which is financed by Saudi Arabia. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar joins us live from Capitol Hill with concerns that stretch far beyond golf. Hi, Atra.
Hey, good evening. You know, it is so rare for any merger or acquisition to come under this much scrutiny by Congress so early on in the negotiations. But that's really a sign of the urgency lawmakers feel, some of them feel, to get a hold on this. So is the fact that these PGA executives were called to testify not before a committee focused on business or antitrust, but one focused on national security.
Preserving an American institution, that's the stated goal of both the PGA and lawmakers on the Senate Homeland Security Committee. How to do that is where they diverge. After a year of legal disputes and players leaving their tour, PGA claims they have no choice but to try to finalize a merger with LIV Golf, which is funded by Saudi Arabia.
They're already putting billions of dollars into golf. They've got a management team that wants to destroy the tour.
Many in the golf world, like Rory McIlroy,
I still hate LIV. Like, I hate LIV.
Deeply uncomfortable with associating with Saudi Arabia and its suspected attempts to quote-unquote sports wash its record of human rights abuses and alleged connections to the 9/11 attacks. Concerns felt beyond the sports realm. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal.
We're concerned about the PGA Tour's deal in terms of what it means for an authoritarian government to use its wealth to capture American institutions.
The PGA pushing back on those worries, claiming they'd have control of any new subsidiary. Republican members of the committee joined Democrats in concerns about potential antitrust issues, but given the early stage of merger negotiations, some of them argue Congress should stay out of it.
There's nothing wrong with the PGA Tour negotiating its survival.
Though a PGA LIV merger would transform professional golf, U.S.-Saudi business ties are nothing new. In fact, on its website, the American embassy and consulates in Saudi Arabia say investment, trade, and other commercial activities form a vital pillar between the countries, and they're committed to supporting U.S. companies doing business with the kingdom.
The PGA executives say they'll cooperate with antitrust regulators, and those watching this closely say that's where PGA and LIV could hit their biggest snag if regulators determine their merger would create an illegal monopoly. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
Live with us now, there's been a lot of talk about PGA and LIV's non-disparagement agreement. What is it and how will it impact players? I know that many continue to speak out against LIV.
Right. Lawmakers had a lot of concerns about what this will mean for players and their First Amendment rights, their ability to speak their mind. So keep in mind, PGA and LIV right now are in a framework agreement. The early steps, they're not officially merged yet. They don't have a subsidiary yet. But in this current state that they're in, they've got this non-disparagement clause, meaning neither entity can say bad things publicly about the other. And there are concerns that if they were to go through and finalize a deal, that players would fall subject to that non-disparagement clause. Now, the PGA executives who spoke before lawmakers today said that it wouldn't, but it's really comes down to a trust issue at this point and credibility. And right now, that's pretty low among lawmakers who don't think PGA should be talking to LIV in the first place.
It's all so interesting. Atra El-Nashar reporting live for us on Capitol Hill tonight. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, our Fox Triple Cast this evening showing some brilliant sunshine on the Mile 1 Taos Cam and the Toyota Asian Harbor Sky Cam, and HD radar showing our next weather maker still pretty far away up across Detroit, southern portions of Ontario, and looks like it probably gets here, but might take until Thursday, Friday to do so, and it'll be falling apart when it does. Until then, though, increasingly poor air quality. That's going to be one of the headlines the next couple of days. Code orange air quality alerts in effect now, not only for the rest of today, but into tonight, tomorrow for Baltimore and surrounding areas. And then there's also a code red for Harford and Cecil counties. Stays hot, less humid for the time being, but humidity and heat is going to be building with shower and storm chances increasing later this week. Code orange air quality alert, as I mentioned, pretty much the entirety of central Maryland except for southern Harford County and Cecil County. Southern Harford County, Cecil County under a code red air quality alert for tomorrow. So everybody in Harford and Cecil County, the southern portions of Harford and Cecil County should spend some extra time inside. Otherwise, it's more so sensitive groups that will be having a hard time with some of this air quality, may have to spend some extra time inside. Otherwise, 89 right now. Toyota Shinner Harbor Skycam, brilliant sun. Winds out of the west at 7. Nice low dew point. So what that means is you take that 89, you add in the low humidity, it actually feels like 89, which is unusual this time of year. Tomorrow, also low humidity, but there we go. The humid numbers do come back as we hit the end of this week, and it's going to start feeling very sultry out there. Showers and storms from Detroit to Chicago. It's going to take some time till those get here. The heat and humidity builds ahead of this thing as that next weather maker moves our way, and I think by Thursday afternoon, that's when we at least count in some chance of showers and storms. I'll let you know when the shower and storm chances increase in risk in my exclusive 10-day forecast.
Well, gun violence awareness is hitting the road. How parents of school shooting victims are using a bus tour to capture lawmakers' attention. Gun violence awareness is hitting the road. Families of victims from the Uvalde, Santa Fe, and Parkland school shootings are heading on a cross-country bus tour aimed at getting lawmakers' attention. Monique Lopez from our Sinclair sister station in Austin has this story.
17-year-old Joaquin "Guac" Oliver was one of many who lost their lives in the Parkland High School shooting in Florida. The teen gunman, convicted of opening fire with a semi-automatic rifle at his former high school, killed 17 people. That school massacre, we all know, was not the last.
After Parkland, we learned a lesson, and then Santa Fe came, and they learned the lesson, and then many other shootings happen. And a lot of people that are not here learn the lesson. But the political inaction was still there.
Joaquin Oliver is the driving force behind Guac's magical tour. His parents, Manuel and Patricia, are hopping on their bus going across the country, stopping in cities including Santa Fe and Uvalde. The goal is to sound the alarm on gun violence even louder than before.
Anyone that is questioning, but what do you want? I want the whole country to be offended by what is happening here. A first world country that thinks that this is normal.
The Olivers were joined by other victims' families from Uvalde and Santa Fe at the Capitol, all pushing for action.
This building, it pisses me off so damn much because the people, the politicians in this building were more upset because I was louder than 85 decibels than the fact that our kids were murdered.
School is starting. You all will be buying books, school clothes, backpacks, and are you ready to add a coffin?
A harsh reality, these parents say, if state and federal lawmakers continue to refuse to take significant action to prevent gun violence. In Austin, Monique Lopez.
Exclusive 10-day forecast. Hot, but still not too humid for Wednesday. But again, we have the code orange air quality alert, except in southern Hartford and Cecil counties where it's a code red day. Afternoon thunderstorm chance on Thursday becomes more humid. It's hot, 95, and the heat wave goes on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe a spot storm to cool you down, but wouldn't count on it. 92 on Monday, and it could stay in the 90s all the way through that 10-day forecast.
Jonathan, thank you. Tonight, BWI Airport has been named as a finalist in quite an unusual contest. The airport is a finalist in 2023's America's Best Restroom Contest. The competition celebrates businesses that have developed and maintained innovative restroom facilities, with BWI being the only airport to actually make the list. The restroom being featured are the new bathrooms on the Concourse B that just opened back in April. They are pretty cool. Good luck to BWI. We're sure you'll flush the competition away. That's all for Fox 45 News at 6. Family Feud's up next. We'll see you back here for the news after the All-Star game. Good luck to our players. Good night.